and then put sugar water in that feeder. I'd also want to continue to try to suppress small hive beetles. Maybe put a new Beetle B Gone sheet in here because clearly they have hive beetles. Nearly all bees in North America now do. Very rare to encounter a colony that doesn't have some.
What do those do?
They make a terrible mess of your colony if you don't control their growth. They feed on the brood and the pollen, and they're really tricky. They hide down in the cells in the dark, and they stroke the bees when they poke their heads in the cells, and they do the same thing that larvae do when they're hungry. They mimic larvae when they're hungry, and so some colonies will just feed them, just as if they're their own sisters. And
Parasites.
oh yeah, they're colony level parasites for sure.
And what's that do that you put in there? What's that do?
The microfiber cloth that we call Beetle B Gone has little fibers that are exactly the right dimension to grab the spurs on the hive beetle's feet, so they get mechanically trapped.
Stuck.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go look at some big colonies now, okay?
And which is I know the 1-1 is not, that's the one to stimulate the queen to produce. That's what you're suggesting that we do for the nucleus colony? And the
Yeah, you don't.
ratio of food?
Yeah, watch your step out here, by the way. Yeah, you don't have to make it that rich. You can make your syrup half that thick, okay?
I've already done it, so.
Well, it's okay. It can be. Y'all okay? Y'all need something?
I was checking on my wife.
Everybody good?
Everybody's good.
You want to go leave it with my wife? She'll guard it for you.
Sure, where is she?
Right over there. Or you can hand it to Alex, who's got the sunglasses on and is just sitting down now because he's out of things to do.
Beautiful day.
Isn't it? Okay, watch your step around here. Everywhere you go, there are hazards.
Air flowing down through it, but it's usually when it's open, it fits all right.
So one of the things that I'm hoping that you'll remember as you move forward and start taking care of bees on your own is don't stand right in front of the hive, right? Because you're going to be potentially antagonizing the guard bees, and you're going to be interfering with foraging bees trying to leave and return to the colony. All right.
By in front, you're talking about that entrance.
Talking about wherever the entrance is.
Yeah.
See, so some of my equipment is not like the best stuff. I tend to use my equipment until it's like all used up.
Makes sense.
So as you can see, I've got a makeshift entrance right here that they're using a lot right now. Okay? That's not designed to be the entrance, but that's the one they're spending a lot of time, most of the time using. So I put some smoke on the entrances of the colony. Okay, take the lid off gently. Now, is this the size equipment that you have your bees in?
I have 8.
You have 8?
Yeah.
8 frame equipment, but it's this depth?
Yes.
Okay.
Mine is the depth of those two.
All right. And these would be what we call deeps, right?
Deeps, okay.
Or Langstroth hive bodies.
Why would you want one versus the other?
I don't like handling lots and lots of boxes, and I like to have strong colonies. And the standard Langstroth equipment is the easiest to manipulate, and you get more bees coming out of one of these than you do 2 of these because there's less wooden wear, more wax surface area. variety of reasons, but there are also reasons to have a colony made out of nothing but modifieds. If you have problems lifting, you don't want to handle deeps full of honey, which can be pretty heavy, then you might want to choose that style colony. All right, so anyway, I put smoke on it, and I'm not going to start taking combs out of the hive until I've completely taken it apart, okay? And go all the way to the bottom. Because I want to be able to get smoke all the way down in the hive, all right? All the way to the bottom.
Smoke makes them sneaky.
Smoke interferes with their ability to communicate alarm, all right? So if they get angry, they're not going to get as angry so quickly. And so if you don't mind, we're going to end up blocking a lot of foragers. So can you all circle back around this way just a little bit? And maybe you all come back around this way a little bit.
Good.
All right, there we go. Now we're good. So I'd like to have the brood chamber, okay, where most of the brood is being reared at the bottom of the hive. And so one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to work through the colony. I'm going to try to move the brood nest down if it's not already there. So I can already tell from where most of the bees are in this hive that the brood nest is, if there is brood in the bottom, it's all cheated off to one side. I'd like to center it. Center the brood. Just have the brood in the middle.
When you're talking about brood, you mean the ones with
Baby
the
bees.
babies? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The fact that there's so many bees on that one there indicates that there's a lot there.
We're getting closer to where the hive is going to be happening, right? When we get bees,
Yeah.
there's not going to be brood typically on empty combs, right? So that's all young stuff. All right. So if you want to see
How do you know?
a beautiful, well, you'll see when I pass it around to you. It's full of larvae and eggs.
Oh.
And that's a totally natural comb, doesn't have a like the,
It's got reinforcing wire in it,
does it have
Yeah.
wire?
Mhm.
Like when we,
but it's wax. It's
Yeah,
it's
when
not
I bought,
plastic
they
foundation.
had that foundation in it already.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a wax foundation with the deal, but it's still the reinforcing wires. Look on the other side. Something is bright red on one of the bees.
Pollen coming in, yeah. So these bees are on a pollen flow, and they're starting to store it away. That is a drone. You're right. Hopefully after this rain, so you got some pollen on this bee,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay? But there's not a lot of pollen stored. There's a little pollen stored, but not a lot. Yeah, that's pollen that they've stored.
See this guy.
So that's the brood you're talking about, trying to move towards the middle instead of the outer edges.
This doesn't have anything but pollen in it, and so I'm going to leave it where it is. See, there's also orange pollen coming in.
Right.
So there's at least 3 different kinds of pollen that I'm seeing coming in right now. So there's lots blooming after the rain. So maybe the honey flow will start today too. It's long overdue. This colony was actually in much better shape when I was in it 6 weeks ago than it is now. And that's just because they've never managed to get any substantial amount of nectar flow going. Okay, what did I pull up there? Can you tell me?
Some of them.
What's on this cone?
Got
Yeah.
brood and pollen.
That's right, we got eggs and larvae and a queen. You see the queen?
Oh yeah. Well, how come I couldn't see that?
Oh, yeah.
Right in the middle.
And she's clipped, she's got a wing clipped, right?
Yeah.
And I've done that so that if this colony gets big and strong, pardon me? She's right here.
I see her. Okay.
So why did you do that again? If it gets big and strong?
And if they try to swarm, she won't be able to leave the hive. She can stop laying and shrink down and try to swarm, but she won't be able to fly. So
Are those
reduces,
sticks
pardon me?
I'm sorry.
No, carry on.
Those sticks right there, are those just a place filler?
That's just so the bees don't drown in the syrup.
Oh.
Is that the feeder?
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll see that I've got a feeder in both deeps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a nice colony, but it would be a much better colony if I had fed it.
Which means you would know that because of the number of larvae
Oh, I'm sorry.
and the number of bees.
Number of bees, well, and just the fact that there's no honey in the hive, right?
Okay.
You don't want your hive typically to be nothing but brood unless the honey flow is right about to start. And that's what this colony was like, again, when I was in it 6 weeks ago. I was just convinced the honey flow was about to start then. I didn't feed it. It was full of bees and brood. It's got less brood in it now, but that was another beautiful comb of brood that I moved over there. We didn't spend a long time looking at it.
So did you not have that grate on it that prevents the queen from going up?
That's right. There's no excluder on this hive. So see, this is an illustration of how well that queen's laying. So it's all sealed brood.
Okay.
And see, it's wall to wall.
Yeah.
I mean, there are hardly any skips.
Yes.
The quality of the queen is good. There's no doubt about that.
So that's what you want in the middle.
Yes. And so
The
I have been,
usually only one or two of those.
this time of year, you should have, 5 combs of brood in your hive, at least, maybe more.
But is that
This
when
hive's
you
got that
say
much.
In the brood, are you saying in this whole stack of boxes or in each drawer here?
So you would like to have 5 or 6 combs of brood in your colony, right? And sometimes you can have more than that. As many as 12 or 13 is not uncommon. If
But
you
I
have a
mean,
double brood chamber
In all
hive,
3 boxes or just in this box?
well, you can only get 9 combs in here if you didn't have a feeder, because I run 9 combs and 10 frame equipment. That's what I like to do because it gives you more room to move combs around. But
you
it's
mean
not
the whole
uncommon to,
stack?
pardon me?
So you mean in the whole stack you want like 5 or 6 combs?
At least, but you could have 12 or 13.
And you're
Depending upon
moving
resources.
the good ones to the bottom. That's-
Yeah, I'm trying to get more brood at the bottom. Here's another beautiful comb.